Right, that's one we want. So we want a large, sharp blade.
Large size. Fragments of cartilage.
But we want it to be a small one, don't we?
Fragments of cartilage. Fragments of cartilage.
Oh, of course, because if it doesn't have the fragments of cartilage...
Large fragments of cartilage.
And it needs the cartilage to cut through things, so I think that's what we need. Holmes will tell me I've got it horribly wrong, I'm sure.
Here are your knives, Holmes.
No, Watson.
Yeah, I thought so. What am I stuck on? Blah, 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 blah. No, it needs to be precisely the size. Like, because you said small one, large sharp blade. Separate the bones and cut through thick skins. I don't know which is the one we've gotten wrong. But the other one he said, I think that is the one we want, though, is the problem. The other one, that's at least 13 inches long, and has that's sharp.
Large size. Fragments of cartilage.
So that one, being 13 inches, must be correct. He said he wanted a...
Fragments of cartilage.
This is the thing. He's like, oh, we need a large blade for this one, which is why I went to that one. So I'm wondering if maybe I had the other one wrong. Inventory items. Butcher's knife. That's not helpful. That's not what I meant to do at all. That's the only other one that fits that description, I think. And it is about the right the size of a pocket knife, although you'll probably complain about these two.
Here are your knives, Holmes.
No, Watson.
Oh, am I giving you the wrong thing?
Here are your knives, Holmes.
No, Watson.
Oh, right, okay, you're just rejecting them out of hand. Right, okay, so I think we put that one back. Okay, oh, no. That one's the 13 inches. These two are not right for what they do. I don't know why it says a large blade. We'll try that one. That one's got the cartilage on. So it's got the what we need it for. There we go.
Here are the knives you asked for. Be careful, they're awfully sharp. Holmes, I must say that this experiment is making me rather uneasy. Comparing animal heads to these poor women.
You're right, Watson, but this somewhat shocking experiment may help to end this massacre and save other victims, you can be sure of that. Look, these pigs' heads are still bloody, which will suit our experiment perfectly. I have a pocket knife and a scalpel with me. With the two knives you just brought me, we have a similar array of weapons as those probably used by the killer. We saw 3 types of throat wounds on the deceased attributed to this man, those intended to slit the throat, those intended to decapitate, and the more superficial yet mortal wound that led to the death of the unfortunate victim in Dutfield's yard, Miss Stride. With the help of these 4 knives, we are going to try to recreate these wounds on the pigs' heads and see what we can establish about the weapon or weapons used. We may also be able to rule out Miss Stride as a victim of the killer of the other 3.
Okay, what am I doing? What am I trying to do? What?
Let's try to decapitate our victim with these tools, knowing that the killer didn't quite manage to do it.
Charming.
So...
Look, Watson, this little knife with a wide base can easily slice the vertebrae of our porcine friend.
Porcine.
The blade of this pocket knife is too thin to reach the vertebrae. With a scalpel, the wound is too shallow.
Yes.
This knife with a long blade easily slices the flesh, but cannot dislocate the vertebrae.
Okay, so... Yeah, it's trying to decapitate, but knowing you didn't quite manage it. So,
Elementary.
yeah, because that one can actually do it. Close. Okay. So then, I see. So then you're left with a small number of things that you can do. Okay.
Let's try to use these weapons on this head to obtain a large deep wound to the throat, like those that were noted on 3 of the 4 victims. This little knife is very sharp and has a very wide blade.
So that's right.
This pocket knife is very sharp, but its blade is too thin. The wound is too shallow.
Yes.
Look, Watson, this knife easily penetrates the flesh.
I'm just drawing a line.
Elementary.
Yeah, just drawing a line. Now, basically what we've seen is it's got to be this one. But I assume I have to do the third experiment, even though it's obvious. Like, this is a poor thing to do. You should have, like, ones... Like, this one probably will have overlap, where it might be these two.
Let's see if these knives can inflict a mortal wound in a situation where a single quick blow is given. The scenario in question is that of Dutfield's yard. Look, Watson, the blade sinks easily into the flesh. In using the cutting edge of this pocket knife's blade, I can scrape the skin.
Okay.
This particularly sharp blade can make a deep gash with one quick slice. It cuts through the flesh easily as the blade is so sharp.
So all of these are right then. What? I'm really confused. What did I put? Unless it's trying to say it's these 3 again? No.
Elementary.
That was weird. I'm not entirely sure why that one's disqualified. Yeah, and I don't know. If this had been here, you would have gone, ooh, it might be these 2, and then you eliminate that one.
That's it, Watson. The big knife.
Yes.
With respect to the opinion of the medical examiners who noted that a butcher's knife with a long blade would have caused the eviscerations on some of the victims, we can assume, Watson, that he only used this type of weapon as it is capable of inflicting all of the wounds displayed. Furthermore, the Dutfield's Yard murder remains attributable, for the moment, to the Whitechapel killer, if we are able to explain why the murderer used his knife in a different manner. Why not go there now? We will try to reenact the killer's actions that night. Our first objective will be to clarify, one way or another, the statements of Constable Smith, as well as this Hungarian by the name of Schwartz. We must also try to find out more about the International Working Men's Educational Club, underneath which the murder took place, perhaps at the Wasp's Nest.
Yes, let's go to Dutfield's Yard or wherever, but quickly. I am in urgent need of fresh air.
Holmes
Let's go to the Wasp's Nest.
Holmes is planning on keeping the knife, I think. Let's all go to the wasp's nest. Oh, let's just teleport. Boop.
Don't forget that Bluto may still be hiding here. I will try to find out more inside. You, Watson, must intercept the policeman on his rounds. Given the hour and a bit of luck, it will be Smith. Try to get some information from him.
Understood, Holmes.
I'm not sure I like how much splitting there is going on between these characters. Between Holmes and Watson.
I know you. You're Squibby's guardian angel. You weren't dressed the same last time, but I don't forget a face. No hard feelings, huh? Join me in a glass?
Tell me about Jack the Ripper.
Your Jack the Ripper is on everyone's lips and written in all of the papers. You must be awfully proud of yourself. You have skill, that's for certain. It's a shame you use it to mask rather than discover the truth.
You better believe that I'm going to find out who it is. I got a hold of old Schwartz's interpreter. You know, the Hungarian who saw Liz Stride get it. Doesn't speak a word of English. And when he went round to the station, another Jew went along to interpret. I found that bloke, and he repeated everything that had been said at the station. It won't be long before I find these fellows.
The many people?
Why do you say these fellows? Were there several of them?
Do you not read the papers, or what? Well, given the rubbish that you read sometimes. Let me explain. At 12:45 a.m., Schwartz goes down Burner Street towards Fairclough, on the side of the road where the Workers' Club is. A bit further from there, just near Dutfield Yard's wooden doors, A chap and a lady are arguing. The Star said that the bloke wanted to push the girl into Dutfield's yard, but the translator told me that Schwartz saw him pulling her towards the road. She doesn't want to follow. He grabs her by the shoulders and throws her to the ground. She falls. Falls a bit, but not too loudly. Old Schwartz is scared, crosses to the other side, but continues in the same direction. The bloke with the girl notices him and yells, "Lipsky!" At the same time, another bloke at the corner of Fairclough and Burner who was lighting his pipe gets in on the action. He starts coming towards Schwartz in a menacing way, and Schwartz takes to his heels, doesn't see anything else. Once he finds out that a woman got herself killed, he went to testify and identified Long Liz Stride as the woman he saw getting thrown about. So there were definitely two blokes, mate. But why am I telling you all this?
In vino veritas.
From Wine Truth? Well, no, it would be ex vino veritas. It's in Wine Truth.
I'll take my leave then, Mr. Bulling.
That's right. Till next time.
I think ex vino veritas would probably be more appropriate.
If you're looking for some company, Gov, you've come to the wrong place. Me, I'm just here to pour. I don't care who you is, I knows nothing, and I don't care neither.
Neither. You're going to keep the
A
accent up.
draft, my good man.
Don't want to sell you beer.
Here, sir.
Don't know why. Why is he bothered that people are coming into his establishment to partake of a beverage? I mean, this is the Whitechapel Killer.
Tell me, was it not a mere stone's throw away from here that the Whitechapel Killer struck last week?
That'd be Jack the Ripper, that's his name. Slit the throat of a working girl in a small courtyard over there behind them big wooden doors.
Below the Workers' Club?
The very spot, below Lipsky and Co. I wouldn't be surprised if Jack was one of them, if you catch my drift.
We should leave Europe. Lipsky.
Lipsky and Company. Do you mean to say that someone called Lipsky runs this club?
Nah, it's just that it's full of Jews. In Whitechapel, we call them all Lipskys, like that Lipsky who killed that girl in Batty Street last year.
Oh, really?
Last year, a Jew named Israel Lipsky killed a lass who was 6 months pregnant by making her drink acid. One trial and one protest by rabbis later, and he was hanging. By those who don't much like him, the Jews are called Lipskys.
Is the term Lipskys used to refer to the Jews in the area, and is this club frequented by Jews?
You got it. Socialist Jews even. They spend their evenings hollering, singing. I've seen them spitting on the bosses.
The victim.
And you know the victim?
No more her than any other. The working girls don't drum up business too much in this street. They need a reason to end up here.
And you know
Oh,
the victim?
no. Thank you.
Very well. Goodbye.
Cheers.
Cheers. Yes.
First and foremost, I must find P.C. Smith.
Hello.
Good evening, Constable.
Good evening, sir.
I am Dr. Watson. Would you happen to be P.C. Smith, the man who patrols this beat?
That's me. And you work with the famous Sherlock Holmes, don't you? What can I do for you?
Sherlock Holmes.
I believe you were on duty the night when the murder took place here. You would certainly be able to confirm a few details, such as the time of death that the medical examiner gave.
It's just that I wasn't there when the body was discovered. I don't think I can help you.
What about the victim?
But I was told that you had seen the victim that very night.
Indeed. But it was before the murder. I saw her, not far from here. She was talking to a man. It was around 12:30 or 12:35 a.m.
Ooh, are we doing another timeline at some point? Is Holmes just going to completely disregard all the evidence for no reason again? A man?
What did this man look like?
I only saw him from behind, really. He was wearing a short black outfit, a small
Outfit.
felt hat like a cap in a dark colour, and a white collar. He seemed to be a respectable type. He was carrying a packet in his hand wrapped in newspaper, about 18 inches long and about 6 inches wide.
His outfit reminds me of someone that I know. Was he a large man, on the older side?
I don't think so, no. Even though I only saw him from behind, I would say that he was barely 30 years old, or even less. Say 28, or even less. 26 years old,
Yep.
and 5 foot 8 inches tall at the very most. He had a small dark brown moustache and an olive complexion, I would say. But once again, I only caught a brief glimpse of his face in 3/4 profile.
Right, and who else saw this man?
Nobody else saw this man?
I discussed this previously with Mr. Eagle, the president of the Workers' Club. That night he returned around 12:40 a.m. to the club. He used the passage through Dutfield's yard to get into the club because the main door was locked. He can attest that he didn't see anyone else in the passage at that time, but wasn't really paying attention to who else might have been in Burner Street itself. He was listening to the song coming from the club. In short, no one else saw him.
Well, thank you for having satisfied my curiosity, my friend.
A fine evening to you, Doctor.
Okay, I'm now Holmes again. Right.
Well, Watson, let's go to Dutfield's yard.
Okay. How do I get there? Is that on the map somewhere, or... Where is it? Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. There's Henry Street. Wharfdale. How do I get there? Right, okay, let's... Alright.
I have no reason to go that way.
That's what I'm doing.
I have no reason to go that way.
No, I didn't think so.
I have no reason to go that way. I have no...
So it is somewhere here. You'd think... Idiot that I am. You think...
Dutfield's yard.
Of course, I'm an idiot. Don't mind me, I'm just...
Your interrogation of P.C. Smith has proven to be very shrewd and of great interest. Thanks to the information I've managed to gather and that you were able to read in my notes in Baker Street, Watson, we can recreate what happened that fateful night at this location, Dutfield's Yards to be precise, the site of Liz Stride's murder.
Was I meant to remember that?